Sagawa, I'm the vice chair of the Development Review Board, and I'm calling the meeting to order at 7:01. And I have some opening remarks. I don't know if you guys have heard these before or not, but anyway, I have to read them, so here we go. At the DRB, we hear applications for land development in the town of Brattleboro and appeals of zoning administrator decisions. Procedurally, the Development Review Board operates on the record. Broadly, this means we take a clear record of testimony from the applicant and any interested parties, and then issue a written decision with our finding. Applicants and members of the public should be aware that as we are on the record, this is your opportunity to comment on and provide evidence regarding an application. In the event our decision is appealed to the environmental court, the court will not take or consider additional testimony at its hearings, but it will look at the evidence from our hearing, the regulations, and determine if the evidence supports the findings and the decision of this board. Only interested persons that participate in this proceeding may appeal a decision made by the board. So I strongly urge all of you to speak up at this meeting, and I think you're all planning to anyway, so. As we are on the record, we are going to ask that you affirm your testimony will be truthful. So with the applicants and anyone wishing to speak to an application, please affirm the following. I hereby affirm.
Raise your hand, no?
Yeah.
I hereby affirm.
You don't have
You don't have
to
to
repeat
repeat.
after me
Okay.
until the end, and then you can just say I do.
Okay.
I hereby affirm that the evidence I give in the case under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury.
I do.
Applicants require a majority of the full board to succeed. That's 4 votes out of 7. We don't have quite 7 people, but we do have a quorum. If we do not have a full board present to hear your application, then we will consider a request to continue your application to the next hearing. So if you think things aren't going to go your way or something, you can request that we continue. After taking testimony, the board will close the public hearing and may vote on your application. The board will issue a written decision within 45 days of the close of the hearing. While we may vote on an application, it is the written decision that controls the timeline for appeal. It should be noted that the town of Brattleboro is a party with an interest in land development applications. The town does not have a special status before this board. Documents provided to the board by the town planning department, town attorney, or other town departments will be considered in exactly the same way as information from the applicant and all other interested parties. So, I have a motion to approve the minutes of, what's our last meeting?
November 20th.
November 20th.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Anybody opposed? No? Okay. Everybody was sworn in. So, yeah,
Yeah, we've been properly warned.
you were properly, we were
Yep,
properly,
yep.
yeah, I saw it in the paper, actually. so-
Yep.
And.
Twice, actually, because this was on last meeting as well.
Here comes
Pardon my lateness.
straight. So, I'm still gonna appoint you,
Okay.
Ian. Okay, does anybody have any conflicts of interest or had any ex parte communications applications? Okay. So, the first case on the agenda is 2019-156, Timothy Kavanaugh and Diane Leary. Do you want to come and take a seat there? That microphone is only for the television, so you have to speak up so we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourselves and then talk about your project?
Okay, and have you had do you, prior to this, do you look at the
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, I just want to, all right, I'm Diane Leary,
I'm Tim Kavanaugh.
and we're married, and we live at 55 Bonnyvale Road in Brattleboro. On September 23rd of this year, almost 3 months ago, our garage caught on fire, was totally destroyed, and has since been taken down, and we have filled out a form. We'd like to rebuild a garage on the same site that the previous garage was. And can I introduce another person? Mike Kraus is here with us. Mike Kraus is the man we've been working with, the contractor.
Yeah.
He demolished, he took down the previous one, and if we do get permission from the board to rebuild, he will be our contractor, and he's also built a model of,
He bought it with him.
brought it with him if you want.
Just so you can see how it sits over the brook.
Okay. So is the foundation still there?
Yes.
or-
Yes.
So you're gonna use the same foundation?
The same cement, I think it was poured cement
The
foundation.
foundation's poured with panels, probably in the 20s. It's very secure. It's been built all around the rocks. The timbers down below, the fire never touched any of the support timbers. It never touched the boards on top of the support timbers. What it did do is the 2x3s, 3-inch thick timbers on top, the top surface burned, but it saved the ones underneath when the timbers haven't been touched. So the fire was going up, it burned the top surface, but 3 inches thick, it got the top inch and never went any further down. And they have pretty heavy timbers, half logs, all been there for a very long time.
Can I ask a question? In the photos,
Yeah.
would the dark, would that be, what would we be seeing there, the dark?
Can I look at it?
Yeah.
These are the photos I
Right.
assume you've seen them?
Yeah, I took those and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you see those timbers, I took pictures from underneath.
Oh, okay. And I'm just curious of what the dark surface, is that from, left over from the fire?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the top of the burned wood.
Oh, okay.
It's the top of the 3-inch thick
Timbers
wood.
are all,
And the driveway also got a little charred.
I wouldn't bother showing me
Okay.
those, but thank you.
Yeah.
If you look at this picture, you can see there's concrete underneath it, and then there's just
Yeah.
that top layer is timbers.
No, I didn't get a chance to drive by your location, so these pictures are very
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. So essentially, our garage is a covered bridge. Is
I mean,
what
that's
it
the
is, and it's been there, it's used as a garage since it was built. I was told the 30s, I'm not sure when it was built, but I think it's been there quite some time. And the way it is now, there's basically 2/3 of the garage sit either on the foundation that's there or on the land in front of the brook. And there's only, what we have is roughly about 1/3, maybe a little more than that, that's actually sits over the brook, is where Mike's gonna show here with
You can
this.
see where it is. by
Put
the-
it on the table.
Yeah.
With Diane
Sure.
and the television.
You can see where it is by the model here. This much land is garage and pavement.
Okay,
The timbers go right here where they're shown, and then it's their backyard.
okay.
So the brook profile is right here, exactly what it is, all measured out. So they park cars here and there. There was a barn door here to drive through. They just want to completely do the thing all over again, so they have a garage back.
So the garage is a bridge over the brook.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Do you have heat? Are you gonna have heat
No,
in
it
there?
never
No
was heated
heat.
before.
Okay.
There was electricity, but
Okay.
it's not a heated barn, no.
So you're gonna electrify it.
We would like to do that
Yeah.
again because when we bought the house 26 years ago, there was electricity in there for lights, for overhead light inside and overhead light that's shown on the driveway. We had since had 2 electric garage doors installed, and we would probably, if we got permission, we would do that again. We're older now than when we bought the house, so. About 10 years ago, we had those doors electrified.
Is there enough power, is the wires big enough going into it to support?
They ran it when the fire department came, to shut it off. We had to get an electrician to figure out in our basement which one, but yeah, there's a wire and the wire is still coming up, so whatever an electrician would do now, I'm assuming since the 30s.
It's probably gonna have to be brought up to code.
Yeah,
From the
yeah.
house to the garage.
It-
In conduit, 3 feet down, whatever you require, an electrician doing it, making a panel inside the garage.
Okay,
Right,
this-
there was a panel inside the garage, and,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you do put electricity back in the garage, you should make provision to put a charging station, just in case, an outlet.
Oh,
Just in
see.
case you ever wanna get an electric car,
Oh,
or
yeah.
Oh,
if you
good
sell
point.
the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And the person wants an electric car, the state would
Good.
require
Okay.
you to have
A charging
a
station?
charge, or an outlet that's sufficient for charging.
Okay,
Which is, I think listed as what is a ground fault circuit interrupter, protected outlet on a dedicated circuit, and then there's some criteria.
And I
Okay.
believe you need a dedicated 20 amp breaker for that.
Yeah, it says
Okay.
either 120 volt, 20 amp for overnight level 1 chargers, or a 220 volt, 50 amp for level 2 charger.
can I ask a question here? When we get your response to our application, will that
That information will be.
Okay, I'm taking notes, but I can see I go home and I will get it 2 days later.
But also, I just figure if I
Yeah.
read you
Yeah.
what is a standard
Okay.
provision, at least you'd be aware that that would be.
And I'm
And
assuming
that's-
to
oh,
use
I
a
thought
sentence.
Brian would be here, but that would be based on the
Okay.
Brattleboro zoning.
He's not loud enough?
Well, we don't
Just in
specifically
you.
have that in our
He's reading.
code,
Okay.
but it's like one of those things that we do recommend. And
Okay.
it is something that the state also
Okay.
recommends as well.
It's a good idea,
Yeah.
as long as you're gonna have an electrician in there, just, because you never know, right?
Right, and at some point, we are thinking of selling the house, and we don't know when that is, but we certainly want to make it, so that somebody would want to buy.
Yeah, or you could be getting an electric car yourself.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a Prius now, so who knows, maybe we'll graduate from a Prius too.
And it is the only access to the back of their land, the backyard, and going through the garage, through the back barn door.
Yeah, you gotta get a good running start.
So the house, your living area, the house
Yeah.
is all on one side of this brook?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is a deck, a 2-tier deck that does go to the back, I mean, we have.
Yeah, we put on when we bought the
Yeah.
house in
Yeah.
The deck goes
93.
over the brook
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we got permission to do that,
93.
93.
Okay.
And when Irene came, or other floods,
Mhm.
did you have any problem with the structure?
Not with the garage, we did, there's a, this is the front of the house, over this wall over here, it had, over the years, been kind of loosening up, and Irene kind of
It
losing
collapsed, it collapsed a bit there.
We had to have somebody from the state come down, look at it, we got permission to have it rebuilt, and we had Jim Herrick from Marlboro came, and he had built a retaining wall for us when we first bought the house, so he came and repaired it, like, the spring after Irene.
So this is the front of the garage. Our house is over here roughly. We have a little path that goes there. And the brook, the deck goes over the brook here, and this goes over the brook over there. So that's the 2 accesses that we have to the backyard, which is partly a wetland too, which is one of the reasons why building back there would not be a good idea.
Could I ask you a general question about Bonnyvale Road?
Sure.
Yeah,
The brook goes behind your house.
It goes
yeah.
behind our house and then it swings, so this is our house. It goes behind our house under the deck and then it comes around between 2 houses.
And then crosses over to the other side of the road.
yeah, there's a bridge right there
to the
before.
left, right
Yeah.
to the right of the front of their house.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you go up another couple houses and then it's crossed over to the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
if you're coming up Bonnyvale from Western Avenue, there's 2 bridges that you come to early on,
Yeah.
and our property lies in that little bit of land that's carved out like a
Yeah.
C-clamp or something like that.
But that's my understanding, is that this brook crosses
Yeah.
over Bonnyvale a number of times.
Yes,
in
it
its-
does.
In its route.
Yeah, it snakes,
there's
kind
a-
of snakes that
I
way.
believe there's a property further up Bonnyvale, if you're traveling up Bonnyvale, further up that has, I believe their house is off to the left behind a brook, and they actually have a little private bridge to get to
That's
their
just
house.
below them.
Oh, that's below that.
No,
It's just-
no, there's
No,
that
he's
one, but
talking
there's
about-
also, there is a
Yeah.
property,
Yeah.
you're right, there's,
Yeah.
And there is a property below you.
there's
that-
two bridges that, at least for
Yeah.
Brattleboro side of Bonnyvale. The brook only has two places where it crosses, where it needs a bridge. And that's just like a few hundred yards up the road from where we live and just right next to our property. So as I said, it's sort of like a C shape, and our property kind of saddles that area, that corner where one of the bridges is.
And this brook, of course, then, trying to picture orientation, but closer to the entrance of Bonnyvale, it actually goes under Western Avenue.
It does.
Yeah.
And then goes on to
Yeah.
join the Whetstone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it feeds into the woods.
I used to play in that brook a lot.
Yeah.
So
Glen Street.
when Irene came, the water rose up very high.
Okay.
But I think it must have been when it flooded downtown. Later on, we were able to see that when it flooded downtown, that the water went down dramatically at about 12:30 that afternoon when Irene hit. And we're actually, where the property is, it's like this a slow slant. The
Incline.
land goes incline, going down to Western Avenue, not drastic, but enough that we're kind of above the flooding that you get in the Whetstone that we saw further on where the Diamondstone property was. And
Well, and then where Glen, across from us on the other side of Western Ave is
It's Glen
Glen.
Street.
Yeah.
They were, so because we were on a very slight incline, the water went down like this, and they got much more damage than Bonnyvale did.
Go ahead.
My only other question is, you say you're gonna put an outdoor light to light up your driveway.
Yeah,
Right now, we try to get at least partially, either fully shielded or partially shielded lights,
okay,
Mhm.
okay.
and have them pointed no
Down.
more than 45 degrees. Preferably, what you want is a light that lights up the area on the ground that you're shooting
Yeah.
for, and not that doesn't point out to the street.
We had a light right here
Yep.
in the garage that burned down that we would use for shoveling snow or something like when we had to get out or something like that.
But
And that's what we'd probably do, put a light that just lights up that driveway
Okay,
area.
but yeah, it's kind of like you don't really want to see it from the road. They have a good section in the book, in this
Okay.
book, the planning book, that
Land
shows,
Okay,
They have two full-size parking spaces
yeah,
right here. So
Yeah.
any light that went down, just shine on that, not get Bonnyville Road blinded.
that's.
yeah,
that's good.
it wasn't, the previous light wasn't like that, it was really our driveway, yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
like to just screw in the floodlights
Yeah.
and let it go.
yeah.
Yeah.
When your driveway parallels the brook for a while, right?
No,
It runs, if it,
no, the driveway is, the brook's here, the driveway's here.
This is probably the
The
best.
brook's
illustration.
right in here, Bonnyville Road's right here.
Can you
So-
visualize
So it's
that?
not parallel, it's more like a T to it. So this is the
So-
brook, this is the driveway.
So from the driveway, do you have any runoff into the brook?
No, because here, if this is the driveway, there's all this land over here and here. No, there isn't any.
So when you,
Is that wetland on the side?
On the far side.
The wetland is kind of where the rock wall is, I guess, is
I kind of drew a map of this years ago, it's not really the scale, it kind of gives you an idea of how
Yeah,
this is
we
a
have
brook.
it.
We have.
Oh, you have that,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
yeah. But the driveway is not, it's not parallel to the brook.
And this end of the property too is higher than this end. So the brook is actually running a little bit down from us.
It runs down grade under the garage.
Yeah,
And you actually go uphill from the garage, it's you see it coming down quite a bit.
Because I was thinking that runoff from, I
The
don't
road?
know, oil spill or
It's not,
grease
it's
or
not any, the
anything
driveway
that
really
was-
isn't near the brook. There's all kinds of land on either sides and there's a perennial.
There's no drain hole in the middle of the.
No, but it doesn't,
On the opposite side of Bonnyvale Road, here's Bonnyvale Road, on this side, there's a trench for water to run on that side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as
Yeah.
they're plowing, whatever they do, it runs off that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
They're making sure it doesn't go into the brook.
yeah. Yeah, there's a, which I think the town maintains that trench across from
Yeah.
this property. There's a house up in the hill, but the town comes in the summer and cuts down goes along with that, whatever that thing is that
It would
cuts.
probably be, not a culvert.
Do you want to answer?
It's
the
not
question
quite a
about the
culvert,
roof?
it's,
Swale.
well, it's,
We'll just-
Swale, is that what it is?
Swale.
Swale.
Can you just elaborate on the
The ditch.
stormwater management?
One of them.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your
The,
question.
The stormwater,
Yeah.
it's kind of vague in here.
What's the question number?
I.
Okay. So what is it that you would want, how
I'm
can we
just curious
elaborate?
where is it being run off to?
What,
Based
you
on
mean when it was like that?
Is it just going off the roof right into the
Well,
road? Yeah,
right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
okay.
there's no
Would
garage.
anyways, if it was
Yeah.
raining on it. Would
Yeah, I
run
don't
into
know
the
what you're
brook,
asking,
too.
because we don't have any garage now, so.
I mean, the design for the new.
the design for, yeah, for,
Well,
yeah.
it
the-
falls
this-
off in here, it falls off here, we have a roof rake, so we have used the roof rake to pull it away from the brook and put it either in the back of the land or in the front and the side.
But rain just, like when it rains,
Yeah.
it just.
Yeah,
Goes straight.
It would be very much like the Creamery Bridge,
Mhm.
you know, which basically rain falls down on that bridge and it goes down into the brook. So same with snow, that slides off.
Okay. Thank you.
I think you summed it up by saying your garage is a covered bridge.
It is,
You
it
just, you
really.
can't drive all the way through.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not used for a covered bridge, but that's essentially what it is.
Must have been a charming feature when you bought the house.
I know, a lot of our neighbors were very upset.
We're not liking not having it, protecting our car from the snow, we're not, it's new for us to have to go out and dig out in a way, not digging out, but digging the car out, so it was a very nice asset to the, it was also good for storing, garden implements.
Interesting
Yeah,
piece,
yeah.
right.
What would be the general size? I think this illustration showed us.
20 by
It's a 20 by 22. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's, yeah.
Same
The
size.
platform
Yeah.
itself is framed for 24 by almost 24.
Okay.
That's what the foundation is on both sides.
Okay.
The timbers didn't go all the way to the edge of it,
Uh-huh.
so they have like 6 inches they can gain on either side,
Okay.
just to make it
Yeah.
follow the footprint, but just use the foundation that's there,
Yeah.
rather than coming back 6 inches. They left the timbers on the outside like a space, I don't know why they did that, but
Okay.
whoever built this in 1930, Bonnyvale Road was probably, we spoke about this, Western Avenue was probably dirt. So,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
sure was.
Anybody have any other questions?
Just one kind of curious, is what caused the fire?
They did, the police, the
didn't
fire
ever know.
department, we weren't, in the 26 years that we've been there, we weren't really doing anything different. I mean, we had paints and solvents in our basement, but, we had gas cans and things that you put in garage, and they weren't able to determine.
The place where it started too had dry stuff, like we have our charcoal dry barbecue pit, and we had charcoal down there that was, unused. We had, newspaper there, which was flammable, that was unused, but it was nothing,
And the
there was
electricity.
no oil or anything like
The
that.
electricity was shut off because we weren't using that bay. We used to have 2 cars, we were down to 1 car, so that bay, we actually were starting to store things, so we didn't need to be opening the garage door, so the electricity was off, so, on that side too, so.
Yeah.
So the fire department, their final report was undetermined.
Anything else?
they managed to rescue
move we
the car
approve.
out of the burning garage.
Well,
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, well, this side was on fire, the car was over here, so we got it out in time. A couple of
Somebody like to make a motion?
I was starting to. I move we approve it with no additional conditions.
Second?
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Where's the mouse?
You're good.
Okay.
So, do we understand you approve us
Yeah.
rebuilding this? Okay.
I just wanna say personally, I love the model.
It's
Yeah.
Because it makes it very
Mike's-
clear.
It's the
Mike's
best
is-
one
I
we
do
ever
this, I do a lot of timber framing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I do this for, I
yeah,
have built models which help sell the work when you
Yeah,
see a
yeah.
model, full model of it. Because when you do a blueprint,
yeah.
I do that also, but people are like, I don't get it. When they see the model, they go, oh, I absolutely get it now.
Well, I think it gets very clear
Yeah.
what it is we're approving.
When we
Yeah,
first,
you could have
when we
weddings
first
there.
lived there, there was an old man who used to go for a walk. I haven't seen him in probably 20 years, but he, in the summer, he'd stop and he'd look at me and he'd say, I never saw the like of it, a garage over the brook. And he said it every time, he just was, you know, anyway. So, you've approved it, but do we have to wait for the 45 days to?
Until you get it.
Until you
Written
get a
copy.
written.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have up to
And-
45 days, but you won't necessarily take 45 days? to-
I'm not sure how long it takes, usually a week or so,
Okay.
but we have Christmas next
Yeah, yeah.
week,
Yes,
so,
yeah, we understand that.
But I will sign it as soon as
Okay,
either Andrew or Brian types it up.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you
And
very much for your time.
so then, do we use this as the permit that we put on it when, or,
I believe so, yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Do,
You'll get notification from
okay,
our
all
department.
right, okay.
Yeah,
But
with
that's the
direct- with
notice that
directions.
we would- That's the notice we would put up on the
Yep.
site, okay.
And
All right.
anything else that we need to know will be in that package that we received.
Yep.
And-
You
Yeah,
got
it'll
it.
have,
Stuff like that.
it'll
Yep.
have the information about the charging, and it'll have information about,
Mhm.
The design of the light.
the
Okay.
light,
Okay,
All right,
yes.
that will be helpful because,
all of that will
yeah,
be in.
that
the-
would have definitely changed since the 30s, so.
In the conditions.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Any other business?
I move we adjourn.
I second
All in
it.
favor of adjourning?
Yeah, thanks.
Aye.
Opposed?
Looks right there.
We did a good job. We had one thing to decide and we did it.